the smoke-filled clouds of the 303, all the way down to the 505. This is the Dro Bro Show with Remo Vinci, Grimx, and Soul Doja. Yeah, the Dro Bro Show.
What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Vicious Remo Vinci, and we are back with episode 9 or 8?
9.
9.
9! Wow, 9 of the Dro Bro Show. And as always, I'm here with my fellow Dro Bros, Grimx and Soul Doja. Say what's up, fellas.
What up, everybody?
How's it going?
Welcome
And,
to episode 9.
We're happy to have y'all back here with us again for another week of some awesome Dro Bro entertainment. We hope y'all had a nice, happy 420. Did y'all have a happy 420? I didn't really get to speak much to y'all. Grim was on location. He was traveling. You want to tell us about your travels, Grim?
Yeah, so the wife and I, we went to New Orleans. So that was pretty cool. We got to do a bayou tour, got to do a cemetery tour, and travel French Street, the French Quarter. I mean, there's a lot of cool things to do, a lot of good food, a lot of good music, history. Didn't get to do the vampire stuff, They had a vampire tour and 2 vampire cafes, which I didn't get to make it to, but
You didn't get to drink no blood?
I drink absinthe though.
What?
Wow.
Really? The real?
Yeah. So
That's down there?
yeah, they have an absinthe bar, and one that had the original recipe that was created down there in 1874. So I had that drink.
Wow.
Did it make you hallucinate like the TV says?
No, and I drank it 20 years ago, and the way I feel is like if you microdosed, boomers, you have a different kind of clarity and alertness. I mean, if you drink this stuff, obviously you're going to feel trashed, but it's not the same as like drinking liquor or alcohol. And you have different clarity and awareness. Obviously, yes, it gets you messed up. I mean, the second time we drank it, we got a flight. So we got 4 different kinds. One we didn't really prefer that came from Dallas. So the bartender actually gave us another one. So we actually tried from 5 different absinthes the second night, and I finished 3 of the 2, and I was definitely puking. I mean, I made it back to the room and everything, but
How what's the like the proof on that? Like, is it 100 proof?
It's 100 to 160 proof.
Did you get the glow? That's all I want to know is, did you get the glow?
Yes,
I was gonna say
I actually got
shit.
photos I could share with you guys in the group chat afterwards.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad you had a great time. The music, the history, the all of that, it's just awesome, man. I would love to go there. That's definitely on the bucket list for me. I'm glad you enjoyed your trip.
Definitely still war vibes. Definitely like the feel of the French architecture and everything.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah, that's dope.
Did you get to throw out some beads?
Were you able to get your 420 on out there?
Yeah. And what were you saying, Joe?
Did you get to throw out some beads and see some, No,
and it wasn't Mardi Gras, but people did try to give out beads, like, people up on the second story of some bars and things. But yeah, I did get my 420 on. You guys saw some photos of me. We smoked walking in the French Quarter, obviously. And on 420, actually, I was in the French Quarter and went and seen the park over there. They got this awesome statue in the middle of the park of Andrew Jackson, one of our presidents, the guy who's actually on the $20 bill, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah.
And the park is really dope. It's over there by the piers and the Mississippi River, so all that was pretty cool.
What's the what's the famous street that they all go on? Bourbon Street or something?
Bourbon.
Yeah, that's for the tourists. Most of
Yeah.
the locals and stuff hang out in the French Quarter, which was way doper. I mean, they're both cool for their own reasons. It is though. I like Bourbon Street. I just don't like that people show up there and they blatantly disrespect a town that has a lot of history, has went through a lot of travesty in recent years and suffered a lot, and they're still rebuilding, and there's still things that you see where they're rebuilding, and just to see people with their blatant disrespect and trash in the city, you know what I mean, and the way they walk in front of the cars and everything like that. So those are things that I think,
People are sick, bro.
yeah.
I get it. Well, I'm glad you had a nice time, though. I'm glad you enjoyed your trip and got to enjoy some good food and all that too. So it's good to have you back. Doja, how was your 420, my brother? What happened with you?
Yeah, how
I
was
didn't
New
do it.
Mexico?
I didn't do a damn thing.
Nothing.
Nah, you know what I did? Like I got up early and I did like a fucking a warrior workout, man. I did like 6 hours. I wrote down I was doing mad dabs like as I worked out. I boxed. I did all kinds of crazy stuff. I got like high as fuck in the morning and just worked out like a idiot.
Well, that's tight. I like that. That's a pretty
But
unique,
but
unique
but
for.
they don't do nothing down here like that because it's like kind of frowned on still, like, like the cops
Yeah.
be hating and shit, like, like i, I
Even
was i was kind of like depressed because I was like, man, so fun in Colorado for 420, like, so I just kind of told everybody the cool stories about I miss Denver and the
So they
420
don't
and stuff.
they don't do rallies or nothing. You guys have a dispensary though, you said, but only for med.
No, we have the recreational. They did a barbecue and a party. They were like doing $50 ounces. They had some ounce called hot flaming hot Cheetos. My, my my
Oh,
son my son bought an ounce of that shit.
did you try it? Was it pretty good?
Nah, he didn't want to bring it. He hasn't brought it over. Stingy
Ah,
ass.
damn.
I
Tell
am.
him to bring it over and we'll do a review on the show.
Yeah, I wanna say, look, I called you out on the show too.
Well, my 420 was kind of strange. I woke up early in the morning because I work on Saturdays every now and then, to go and get some extra hours and shit, extra early as fuck. So I start my day at like, 2 in the morning. So that's how I started it, and I came home and chilled for a couple hours, after work, and then we had it all planned out to go check out Elitch's. Man, we got some season passes, and we were gonna go hit up Elitch's because it was opening day for season pass holders. And we went, and the weather was all shitty. You know what I mean? It was terrible. It kind of snowed the night before a little bit. So we were hoping that we were able to still do stuff, but they didn't. They just had us go and get our pass, and we actually ended up coming back the next day. But the rest of it was cool. We ended up just going to the zoo after all, and I just kind of puffed out, checking out
Oh
all the
yeah.
cool animals at the zoo. And
They,
I didn't really partake in anything. Our soon to be hopeful sponsors, Skunked, they were having all kinds of cool giveaways and cool things that were happening. In fact, they got in touch with me and told me about some cool stuff that they might be able to help advertise with. And I didn't even get to go stop by there like I wanted to, but hopefully this next year we'll be more prepared and you'll see like a live Dro Bro show, in the middle of fucking Civic Center Park, and we're doing it up tight or something. You know what I mean? Like hopefully something badass happens like that.
Hell yeah.
hey, you're still getting snow over there?
It was like a real light dusty. It wasn't even like an inch, but it was enough to
Oh,
kind of fuck some shit up. You know what I mean? And
It was
yeah.
snowing when I left, the day I left for New Orleans.
Man, that's the most I miss is about me and Trinity. We get depressed about no snow down here.
well, so much for our introductions and our recap of our 420 weekend. We have our movie review for y'all this month today. And Grim, you want to let them know what movie we're reviewing today?
Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was directed by Daniel Kwan and Daniel Schneider. And if I mispronounce these, but they're referred to as the Daniels since there's
The
two.
Dan-
The film starring Michelle Yeoh as Evelyn Wang, and then you have Joy Wang or Jobu Tupaki, who's played by Stephanie Su. Wayman, who was Ki Wei Kwan, also known as Data from the Goonies or Short Round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, making his return to acting. Daedra, who was played by Jamie Lee Curtis. And then you had the father, Gong Gong, played by James Hong.
Hey, was he in the father? Was he in Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I gotta ask them tomorrow because I rewatched it actually these past 2 days.
that
I
dude's
had to I had to watch it like 2 different nights. I was like, fuck, there's a lot of shit in these movies, man. I was like,
It is a lot, and I love
and I
it.
actually and I actually want to watch it again. You know, like a couple more times because I just feel like I haven't hit my universe yet where I'm rich and famous that I want to go to.
Well,
I agree, man. I feel like there's so much to fucking chew on it as far as this movie goes that you have to watch it multiple times to really get the full scope of everything. I think, I only got to see it.
spoiler alert before we get into this conversation for those of you watching. If you haven't seen the movie, spoiler alert.
Yeah. But I think it's one of those ones where there's so many like little Easter egg type deals, or so much dialogue, or so much specific direction with certain scenes that it's like impossible to take it all in on the first run. It's like you have to do it in multiple sessions, and this was brand new to me. I just barely watched it yesterday, and then I had to rewatch it today because I fell asleep the first time. And it wasn't a knock on the movie. It was me. I was again, like
No,
I talked about my hours.
tell the people the truth. Your brain got overloaded.
And it was like,
Hey, it was funny how you were saying like so many scenes. I was just watching a breakdown real quick before we started, and I didn't even realize the guy he counted where it shows like her flashing through the different universes. There was 69 different realities that it flashes through on just that scene of like 2 seconds, you know. And I was like, he's like, I had to freeze frame and I counted each and every one. And I was just like, wow, that's
I seen that one. Shout out to rock stars. Wasn't that what it
Oh
was?
yeah, 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 yeah. It was rock stars.
Uh,
Hey, look, they do a good job breaking down stuff, man. Like I've been watching them for a while.
I want to say words that resonated with me for this film. Right, I wrote down are visually masterfully crafted, beautifully scored, phenomenal cast, masterpiece, and stunning.
those are great words. Like, if as far as like a movie critic goes, that's on point. I was kind of saying similar stuff. I actually broke it down like to different sections, and the first thing that I circled was the cast. Like, great cast. You know what I mean? Like everybody, like every single role. They did amazing jobs in. I mean, Michelle Yeoh, like I've always loved her, man. Like I remember seeing her in Jackie Chan movies back in, like, what was it, like Super Cop or something was the first one I seen her in, and she
Yeah,
was badass then.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I was good.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that gets to one of my questions. I wanted to ask both of you guys, what is your favorite movie with her? Because I've seen so many. Like mine would probably have to be like Crouching Tiger, but it is hard to say because she's just done so many movies. And is she a real martial artist?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure, bro. Like she's been in enough movies to pass as legit to me. And to be honest with you, like after watching this, I don't think that there's a even second close contender, bro. Like this is to me her best work she's ever done. And like I'm not like this well versed, you know, Chinese, action movie guy. Like I don't know all the stuff that she's been in or whatever, but from what I've seen, this movie, man, it showed like her vulnerability, her versatility. She had like so much heart in this movie. Like it was crazy, bro. Like I was so proud of her, and I felt so happy for her that she got to have this role because it really got to. It enabled her to show all of those things that she could really do. Besides just the martial arts, like she's an amazing actress, bro. And like she won. I mean, this freaking movie won 7 Oscars, bro. It was nominated
Oh,
for 7. It was
like,
nominated for 11 Oscars and won 7 of them. It won
hey,
Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Supporting Actress, among a couple others, I think.
that's funny. That's one of the questions I wrote down because I wrote down like 14 little questions and shit. And one of them was like, how many awards did she like win? Because I remember seeing like, win for this, win for that, win for. I was like,
Bro,
gee,
check this out. I was just doing a little bit more research before the show so I could take some notes down and shit, right? And I don't know how legit it is, but I think it was on Yahoo, that was my source, that it was the most awarded film of all time.
It should have been. You know
Of
what I mean?
all
It
time,
really
bro.
should have.
That's
that's pretty
huge, bro, of all
cool.
time.
That's
So,
pretty cool.
all right. So let's start off with this. This
Go
movie,
ahead, get into it, man.
philosophically, it's about nihilism versus existentialism. Sorry. So existentialism is the philosophical belief that we are responsible for creating purpose or meaning in our own lives. Nihilism is the belief that all our values are baseless and that nothing can be known or communicated. So, in the beginning, they're all battling their own existentialism, right? They're all dealing with the lives that they're dealt, what they're dealing with, and how they've created their own lives. And I love how the movie starts off. Let me just mention this because it's big, and I wrote this down in my notes as circles because they reference circles throughout the movie because of the bagel, and that was one thing I forgot to look up. But I have his last name, so Bloom. I wanted to say Tim or Edward Bloom. I can't remember his first name. He's the guy who theorized that the universe is like a donut shape. Okay, so that's what this whole bagel thing is like a take on. But beyond that, it being this big black thing with a small white circle is the yin and yang, but also the antithesis of the bagel or the counterpart are the googly eyes, right? And you got this big, vast bagel that's like a void, nothingness, sucking in everything. And the googly eyes, which ties into another point later. But the googly eyes represent the opposite, and it represented love and kindness, as opposed to the nihilism or existentialism, which are portrayed in these two characters. Which I wanted to bring up that those three, I brought it up before in here that the Kabbalistic tree of life, the Sephirah, right, has 3 paths, and it has an Ahrimanic path, a Luciferic path, and then you have the middle way, which is the Christ and the Christos path, basically, right? It's only one that goes from earth to heaven. So you have these 3 characters, and Joy, who is Jobu Tapaki, and she ends up becoming like the villain character in the movie. And so she's represented by the Ahrimanic side, okay, where she's already nihilistic, she's dark, she's seen everything, so she wants to destroy everything. You have Evelyn, who's the Luciferic side, because once she meets Alpha Wayman in the IRS place, she taps into her first universal thing. And when she does, she wants to keep resonating with it. So it's like when the Luciferic path is when you're influenced by the Luciferic beings like angels, which means light beings, that you're reminded of who you are and where you came from. So you start to believe in all these other things, and it makes you lose sight of what's actually going on here. in the present, the physical. So you have Wayman, who is the Christ part, the middle way, because he is love and kindness. Even though there are these things in life, right? She's caught up in. So I felt like that part, and let me know if you guys felt the same way, that this movie is perfect because in our social media age, Evelyn embodies that, what social media does to people. But I mean, beyond that, just looking at it in this aspect, that when she sees these other universes, it makes her realize the lost potentials, or the things that she had as potentials, which in this universe you see in the IRS office with Jamie Lee Curtis when she's saying, you run a laundromat. How do you have a karaoke machine? She's like, oh, I'm a singer. She's like, oh, you have this, and she's like, oh yeah, I do the water treatments or whatever. And she has all these different things that she's done, but she never followed through with. So all this lost potential in the real reality, and glimpsing her fulfilling these potentials, right? This is like social media with noise and distraction, which is what the first part of the movie is, and part one being everything. So it really shows that she is um she's surrounded by a lot of distractions.
Yeah, no doubt. And I get totally what you mean by how it relates to social media in this day and age. Um, I honestly was feeling like it was a perfect representation of just like life in itself. Like life, as you grow older, is constantly throwing different distractions at you, and they slowly creep up. You know, it's not like you're just hit with all of it at once and you're just, all of a sudden trying to deal with it. Like this is throughout your life, things slowly build up and they come to a head at certain points where you feel overwhelmed, and it's this whole fucking sense of it all, you know what I mean? So like I feel like you brought up the Jamie Lee Curtis character, and let's give her some props on this. She also, won an Oscar for her performance, and she's amazing anyway. I love Jamie Lee Curtis, man. She surprises me all the time in all the roles that she takes. But when she first meets her character and she goes into her first universe, like you were talking about, I feel like there's something there when the husband, or the other universe husband, the alpha one, came and showed her this other glimpse of to what her life could have been. I think all of us kind of carry those kind of things with us a lot of times, about certain decisions that we may or may not have made in our past that could have led us in different directions. You know what I'm saying? So right away, like I was resonating with some of the stuff she was saying, because I've oftentimes felt like I've made silly decisions, or I could have done something better here, there, or whatever. You know what I mean? And oftentimes wondered what that course may have led me down. So to see the glimpses of it all, and to be able to recognize that all of these things are still passions of hers and still pieces of her, and for her to not necessarily um, let go of, but at the same time to be able to let go of the things she needed to let go of too, was just powerful. Like there was so much to it, man. Like Grim and I had a conversation earlier, and he kept telling me that there was so much that it was hard to put into words, like the gravity and the depth of it all. And honestly, like that's kind of what I'm left with. I'm left with this kind of speechless, almost feeling about it all, because it is kind of all encompassing. It did bring out all the different emotions, and it did really touch on a lot of different subjects, but yet at the same time they were all still very simple. It all came down to love and kindness, like you were talking about.
I love that it had comedy too, that it was weird and it had the weird comedy, because that goes with the serious emotions it brings out in you. It needed that for the balance, and it just blended so perfectly to bring a masterpiece. But since you brought up the Jamie Lee Curtis, I just want to touch on this, just to go into how vast this movie and its deepness is. So the Jamie Lee Curtis character is the IRS agent, basically. And this is not a good scene. They did their taxes wrong, and this ends up being the beginning of the downfall for Evelyn, and her beginning of her awakening to all of this multiverse and verse jumping. So the first thing when she verse jumps, her task, because in order to resonate with the universe closest to you or the one that you're trying to resonate in that ability that you need, you have to do weird things. And the weirder, the more you're able to generate the energy to resonate with that earth. So that's the way the Waymond explained to Alpha Waymond. So her first thing is she has to tell Daedra that she loves her and means it. I mean, think about that. That just shows you where this character's mindset is. That her weird thing is to say I love you and mean it.
Yeah,
So
like the thing that's most out of her character kind of thing. Like I thought I thought that was so cool, like such a cool touch to the story or to the way it was written, like to have to do something that takes you completely outside of your comfort zone in order to tap into what you're trying to see. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy to me. Like just the concept of that alone, because
yeah,
oftentimes that's what it's like in real life is you have to take yourself outside of your comfort zones, just like us doing this show together. Like we talked about it for how long, and it's like we had to take ourselves out of what we were, kind of stuck in and really take that leap of faith and see what happens. And like I thought that was a cool little touch to it.
Hey, speaking of that scene and weird stuff, that also opened a future scene where it shows her trophies and her awards that she had in the background, and
well, we gotta call them A plugs because I heard that you get blocked if you say what they are. So
Hey, look,
no,
look,
I wasn't gonna say what it
about
was. They
trying
were,
to bring it up and you already got blocked. Did you see
they,
that?
no, I fucking, dude, that was damn Ray was calling me. I want to yell at his ass. I'm
but
saying, don't
yeah,
you
the
call him
weird
on
thing,
podcasting?
since we're talking here, the hot dog world, and it's important. I wanted to bring it up because it ties into the Jamie Lee Curtis character. Because throughout the movie, she's a villain, whether she's the bagel version or she's the IRS agent. She's essentially the villain, and we'll get into the most powerful scene later. But at that scene, she's being explained by Waymond the situation, right? And so she resonates with that because she was divorced at one time and she went crazy. So she and Evelyn have this talk, and at that moment Evelyn realizes, that through these multiverses and through the hot dog world, which scared the crap out of her, that this person just needs love. And when she starts to show that to the Jamie Lee Curtis character, what that's showing is that even your enemy is your friend if you just change perspective.
Was that
Absolutely.
was that your favorite universe? The Wiener
Not
Fingers,
just,
Remo?
I mean, I like hot links myself, but it was all right.
we we're talking about it before the show, but I like to tell people. But my daughter walked in on that scene and was like, "What are you watching, Dad?" And I'm like, don't worry about it. Just go to your room."
Oh man.
so I guess taking it from there. No, so she learns to verse jump for those of you that don't know, and when they start to resonate with these other universes, it develops fractures in your mind. And when you try to go there again or try to keep the connection, it worsens those fractures. And so throughout the movie, because she hasn't been trained, but Alpha Waymond is telling her that with training, you'll learn to seal the cracks. But it leads to the point of their daughter Joy becoming Jobu Topaki. And so in the Alpha world, she's basically the best verse jumper. And because of that, the mom, Evelyn, pushes her in that universe and pushes her to the point where her mind fractures. So she exists in all realities simultaneously and experiences everything all at once. So, because of this, she developed her nihilistic attitude. And I feel that's important. But do you guys have any thoughts on that?
do, do you think that's how we tap into the different universes of ourselves is through the quantum mania and all of these stuff inside of us?
So, we're the representation of the microcosm of the macrocosm. So even Amashiach has said it, that all that exists in the universe is within you. Okay, because it is everything that is everything. And I mean, I don't know if I brought it up publicly on the show, but Remo and I and Soul and I have had these discussions privately. But my belief in the source in God is that our creator isn't a being that exists separate from its own creation. It is the creation. So it is everything everywhere all at once. It exists simultaneously within all of us, the macrocosm and the microcosm. So
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I thought that was, it's a weird movie. Like it's hard to like understand and follow right off the get. So like my first time around, I had a hard time with it because I told you I was real tired, falling asleep, the whole thing. So I'm in and out, and like with it being so sporadic and all over the place, like it was hard for me to follow. But that was one of the things that seemed to like grab me. I thought maybe the husband for a second was like God or like her leader or something. You know what I mean? Like leading her to the light kind of thing. And he kind of was. He kind of was like her angel that kind of led her to the light. But it had this very omnipresent vibe to it. You know what I mean? Like this everything, like even the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once is like very, very much a theologic concept. You know what I mean? So it definitely felt very deep to me in that sense.
I I want to say too, like like at the time that movie came out, like a lot of people have been doing like the whole multiverse concept, like Marvel and a lot of movies and shows and everything. But I think they touched on it like a lot better than most of them, and like they got into, because that stuff kind of like intrigues me and stuff with like the multiverse. It's been kind of interesting. Like I've been running across a lot of information on it, but I really like how I think they did the explanation of it all best.
Well,
I agree.
I was telling Grim, like, I know he didn't really agree with me, but like right my first go around, it kind of reminded me of that Jet Li movie, the one, the way they did that.
Oh yeah.
It reminded me a lot of that kind of thing. Honestly, like the movie still reminds me of a little bit of that, mixed with a little bit of like, It's a Wonderful Life, like, and a whole lot of other stuff, kind of all mixed up in one. Like it really does kind of cover the whole gamut of it all.
I definitely feel it's its own masterpiece. But going back to the Wayman character and what you said about him, so that was one of my points I had in my notes. So Wayman is the beta male. He was the key, the anchor to the story, and the reason why he worked as this type character, where they were revamping what the beta male is and social standards, because what we know a beta male as is a weak, cowardly man who buckles to other alphas, right? That's what they're portrayed as on TV. So they're taking an Asian man who in most movies are known to be bad A martial artist, right? So because of that, they're always a masculine type alpha male. So they're taking an Asian man, making him a beta male, but they're doing it in a way that they anchor the story around him. Because if this were a normal story, when you saw Alpha Waymond, it, he would progress throughout the story and start to develop these tendencies, which are negative tendencies, to make him more aggressive and start acting more like the Alpha Wayman, who within a few moments you see he's impatient, he's bossy, he's controlling, he has his own goals. The whole Alpha universe does. So when you see this right away, you realize that even though he seemed like the stronger character, he wasn't. So by taking that and making him the anchor point instead of a side character, now the story revolves around this beta male and his story, about love and kindness, which I feel he has the two best lines in the movie. And obviously, since we're talking about the love and be kind, that one is one of the lines I really liked that whole speech. It was, I love it because it's exactly what. So when I told you earlier, Remo, one of the parts that resonate with me, and both these lines do very deeply. I'm trying to actually hold back my feelings for how these make me feel, but to be kind, it's because that's what I've always felt. Like we don't know what's going on. We're all here trying to figure it all out, and we fight over the most trivial things, I feel. And I guess as I get older, I start to realize these things, and then when you don't have as much connection as you'd like, and you have that lack of connection, you start to realize, that these petty differences have separated us so much that we've definitely lost our way. The other line, and so I guess this one, and anyone who's ever had their heart broken, anyone who's ever felt any kind of pain, and I love that about this movie is that there's a lot of pain involved in this movie, but the pain brings about growth, and that growth is positive, and so that, like, things like the rock scene and stuff, which I'll get into later, but the best line of the entire movie is the taxes and laundry line. So when the verse she keeps resonating with is the verse that it's the martial artist, because she was also a movie star.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, because Evelyn kind of reminds me a lot of my mom, and just the way she talks and everything, it really, really reminds me of my mom. But
Mm-hmm.
it's with wanting to have this life that she never had. And at this point, she's already in this nihilistic mentality because her daughter has convinced her that nothing matters. Even though you've seen all of these lives and these potentials, because Wayman told her she's living the worst her. In this universe, she's the worst version of herself. So she finds that her
Wasn't
daughter,
that heavy? That was heavy as fuck when he told her that. Like that one hit me kind of tough. You know what I'm saying? Just when he told her that she was the worst one, like that made me think about like what the fuck am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, my fault. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that was just one that jumped out at
good.
me.
So, you know, um, after all that happens, she has accepted that nihilism's the answer, and she became like Jobu to Baki to understand her daughter better, so that she thought she could save her. And it's funny because Jobu tells her fuck, and she's like, what? And she says, I searched, no one, you didn't ever ask why I was looking for you. And she said, I was looking for you because I was hoping you would show me an answer I couldn't see. Because it's beautiful how this movie's about suicide. So anyways, she's with Wayman, and it's the most beautiful, emotional, heartbreaking scene I've ever, 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 ever in my life have seen to this point. And it's crazy, and it jumps back and forth between the worlds because at this point she's already destroyed everything. She freaking signed the divorce papers. She let the IRS come because she didn't go back with the paperwork, and now they're seizing their property. She broke the windows in a rage, and Wayman's talking to the Daedra character, and she's like, my husband's over there messing it up. And it's funny how they look at him as this weak character, and he basically breaks it down leading up to this line, telling her that you think that I don't understand, that you think that I'm naive and I'm weak. But he said, this is just the way that I choose to fight. And his most important line, because he tries to get with her in this world, and the teacher or the kung fu master's like, there's no time for distractions. So when he's leaving, he basically tells her, so even though you broke my heart yet again, I wanted to say in another life, I would have really liked just doing laundry and taxes with you. And it's beautiful because at that point they're both rich and they have everything. So, and that carries into the next point that he's sweeping up in the dustpan. It's got a smiley face on it, right? And he's singing the song, and the forgiveness and devotion of this character to the one he loves. And it just, in that moment, she grabs his hand for this last fleeting thing. And that's when she has all of these memories of all the good things. You know?
Yep.
And so, like, I mean, for me, that's, I don't know, like, it's the most powerful thing I've ever seen in a movie. So resonating and so true.
That's dope, Skins. I love that, man. Thank you for sharing that your point of view and breakdown with us like that. That's some heavy shit, man. Because I agree, that was very powerful, man. That moment of it all, and her coming to that realization, like our protagonist, the one we're following throughout the whole movie, and like her story becomes our story because we all relate to it. And then to have that moment of realization that you were completely wrong about this guy, you know what I mean, and how he really did have all the strength to carry her a lot. You know what I mean? And she didn't even realize that. She saw it as something completely different.
But
And
did you notice he's the only character that stays the same? Every other character gains abilities, or they change, or they grow. He's the only one who stayed the same throughout the entire story.
yep, you're right. He did. What did you think, Doja? What was your favorite spot here?
Um, I don't know. Oh, I'll get to that later, but I wanted to ask this question. There's that scene where she hits the vape, and then they're like having fun and dancing and stuff afterwards. Do you guys think it was a weed vape?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do. And in fact, with that being said, I think that's a perfect time for us to have our little medical moment of the day of the show and give it up to our strains here. Grim, you want to start us off?
He looks all crazy, huh?
We're all fucking blurry.
Like a stick figure.
Like Jack Skellington.
Yeah, oh shit, I ripped the top off. I don't remember what flavor it is.
Oh no.
It's Seed and Strain. I got cannabis this week. Which,
Beautiful.
I'm smoking some anesthesia.
Oh shit, you ain't gonna remember nothing.
Yeah. What I just asked?
Well, this week my cart is they're both brought to you by Skunked, by the way. And my cart is cereal milk again, same as last time. And the flower is Peach Crescendo. And it is fucking fire, let me tell you. I love it.
Doesn't milk spoil after a week?
It does, but this one has like an extra additive to it where it's cool.
Oh, okay.
But it will
Organic.
probably go bad next week, so I need to get a new one.
Ugh.
And
Let's
that
drink.
has been our medical moment of the week or something. We need to come up with a name for that, fellas. We need to figure that out.
the
Um,
Dro Bro moment.
Yep. The dromate
Dro-
of the
Yeah,
the Drobro strain. Moment strain.
and that has been the dromate of the day.
The
yeah.
Dromit.
Egg drum it.
Yeah, that's pretty good, huh? I can't even see that on a shirt. Dromit.
See, like we're just full of ideas. We're a great crew of we're you see the new artwork and all this stuff. Like we're doing things. This last episode, this Marilyn Manson was our most viewed one yet. So thank you for all the new subscribers too. I appreciate y'all. We got a lot more content coming to you.
So
Right.
I want to touch on this point though, is that with everything going on in this whole movie, the rock scene.
Oh,
Also
I was
another
just gonna ask about that. Go for it.
well, the point of it was to represent peace and tranquility. Because what is more peaceful than just being a rock? And I mean, there's all this noise that's going on. So I love how they broke it up into three parts. You have everything. And in the beginning, it's very, very chaotic. Okay, there's a lot going on, a lot of problems are arising, and it's everything. And when it's everywhere, this is the point where they're starting to explore the multiverses more. And she's starting to understand these other characters in the universes, but understanding herself through these characters. And so then when you get to the all at once, it brings it all together. And now she's like Jobu, and she exists in multiple realms. So when her and Wayman have this beautiful moment, and he asks her to be kind, and she turns the bullet to a googly eye and puts it on her eye, symbolic of the third eye. But again, like I said, this is representing the antithesis of the bagel, which is a black circle with a white circle inside, and this is a white one with a tiny black. So she does the opposite, and instead of doing like what her father did to her, which is why she can't accept Joy's girlfriend Becky and won't even tell her father Gong Gong that it's her girlfriend because she's ashamed. And that comes from her father treating her that way. So this time around, instead, she takes the Wayman way and she concentrates on her relationship with her daughter. And through that, I feel like, they get to that rock scene, and that's the peace point, because then they have that beautiful scene at the end after she runs out and they're in the parking lot and it's jumping back and forth between these realities. And she just says, let me go. Because she says that she created the bagel not to destroy everything but herself, maybe to end everything. So when her mom says, okay, but then she turns around and she's like, no, you are fat. You don't call me. You only come around when you need something, because she's like, and I'm not perfect either, but I could be anywhere, but I choose to be here with you. And then it's like the whole family there pulling her back through.
Yeah, I thought that was an awesome point, man. Like you said earlier, how it's like the whole thing is kind of about suicide. You know what I mean? And how she was getting to this point, and how the mom was like smothering enough to where it was kind of helping push her to this point. And it was the mom finally being able to let go, which kind of allowed the mom to be able to see things in a different perspective, which was able to help the mom pull her back in. You know what I mean? And then the whole family, like you said, got involved. And that was just awesome, man. The whole thing was so powerful. And you said something a minute ago before you got into the parking lot scene that I wanted to say something on, and I lost it. But if it comes back to me, I'll let you know.
Hey, before we get off that rock scene,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, first off, what did you guys think of that of being rocks? And have you ever had dreams similar where you were a stone in a rock? Me, I've had dreams like that where I was like under an ocean and stuff like that, and it was a nightmare, and I woke up and back in my human body.
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you for bringing up the rocks, because that's what I forgot. It was the whole rock scene thing. Like you had told me yesterday, how powerful that was, and how it was a really important part of the movie, and how I had missed that the first time around because I was, again, half asleep and whatnot. So I remember waking up and being like, what the fuck is this shit? You know what I mean? So today, when I was able to watch it again, I understood the depth of it all and how serious it was. And to answer your question, Doja, I have actually never had a dream like that per se, but I've had dreams where I felt like there was a rock involved, like weighing me down, like a big heavy boulder, like that. What is that Greek? Is it Atlas?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Remember,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
hold on his shoulders. Like I felt like that before, like a giant boulder,
You held up the world?
something like that, something like that. These are bigger shoulders than they look.
Yeah. And to
Me
answer your
too.
question, I haven't had a rock dream, but I have sleep paralysis. So, like that feeling of not being able to move when you wake up, um, that experience.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun.
Bro.
Um, I also thought all the signs and references that it had in it was really cool too. Like I said, this is one of those movies you have to watch multiple times to really get a good grasp of it all. But I liked how love actually turned out to be the only real weapon against our antagonist here, and how everything else that the mom was trying to do to use to combat just was not going to work. And in the end of it all, that it had to be love that came through. I thought that was pretty cool. And go ahead.
Oh, isn't it strange how, or I don't know if it's strange, but a lot of themes are like that and similarities. Like love conquers all. I read a book where like it was called like Love is Everything. Love is everything. Everything else is bullshit. And like it's just like you see that theme and that concept constantly. You know, with
I
that
think,
how love conquers all.
But
yep.
let's come full circle to the point, and no pun intended. But the so the thing when I mentioned it earlier that she was the untapped potential, that she was the one that never fulfilled any of her dreams. You could argue that that's the very reason why she is the one, because all that untapped potential is the reason she had the ability to see all of it, to be able to save Jobu instead of turn nihilistic.
Yeah, no doubt. That's the thing about this movie too, is like it kind of showed you how everything is necessary. Every season, everything that you go through, even when you don't understand it in the moment and you don't know, what it is that you're going through and you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like there is a reason for it all. Like you said, you don't believe in coincidences and all of that. I think that there's so many things that kind of, you know, really speak to that point. And this movie, I think, had a lot of that, had a whole lot of that. And, loving, like, this movie reminded me a lot, too, of like the things that you take for granted, the things that you don't even see that are right in front of you, like
Like
she, a lot of times throughout the course of the movie, she kept wanting that other life, where she was the movie star, the martial artist, the whole thing, because it had all, it had all the glitz and glamour of it all. And she
you,
thought that's what she wanted. But at
you
the end,
guys
she realized it wasn't.
you guys see that thumbs up pop up on your screens too?
Yeah.
Only when you do it.
Yeah, like
So,
when I put my thumb up, it pops up.
oh,
See?
dope.
What the
It doesn't do it.
does it do it?
No.
Yeah, you're the only one that does it.
I got the special thumb.
But I did want to talk about the Joy character, the Jobu Tupaki character,
Yeah,
because she is a main point in the movie, and we kind of left her out only talking about the Evelyn character and Wayman. So Joy, she can't tell. Well, she wants to, but they don't accept her. She can't tell her grandpa that she's gay and that's her girlfriend. Her mom stops her and intervenes so that she's unable to tell her. And then the Jobu Topaki character. The reason why I want to bring her up is because in this world, Alpha Universe, everybody, they just want something to blame. When Evelyn realizes that Jobu is Joy, when Joy tells her that every version of me is Jobu Tupaki, they're one and the same. So basically, the world wants something to blame. They want to blame this character so they could say all we have to do is kill it and cut it out and everything will go back to normal. But what it is that Jobu is what the world created. She is the response to the world, to the multiverses and what they've done, right? She didn't create herself. The world created her. She's the response. So them wanting to snuff it out, and I love like I said, there's too much. Remo said it best. There's too much to cover in this on this movie. There's just so much you could find. Souls mentioned
You,
it,
you could
but
literally go minute by minute and break it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And all the Easter eggs, like the 42 for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you know, that's the answer to everything. I mean, there were so many different things. There's hundreds of Easter eggs in the
Hey,
movie.
speaking of that movie, we should review that one later. The Hitchhikers to the Galaxy. That's a good one right there.
That was too. So
I wa- me and my ex, my baby mama Sarah, we watched that shit on mushrooms, and we really understood that movie.
remember, Brandon was all about that movie when it
Yeah.
came out. That was a
Have you
good.
read Have you read the book?
No,
No.
I heard it was really good.
I have to check it out.
I thought this movie would be a trip on, to take a trip to Boomtown. I thought that would be
Oh
crazy.
man, I'll probably start bleeding out of my eyes and my ears, and or I'll be like, "Ugh," too much. Oh
This was
man,
a good movie.
that would be pretty. That would pretty epic, though. I bet,
That's
huh?
intense, bro. I think afterwards I need to fucking take a nap.
You know,
uh,
a movie where it's fractured and it kind of shows 2 points and it shows it separating off. I love how the cinematography was done. I love the music, you know, the way that they did. We've seen how the piano and everything. So with the hot dog fingers, remember, it's the theory that anything can happen. So even in a world with hot dog fingers, they could do anything with their feet, as she even says, like play the piano and among other things.
Yeah, that part grossed me out for sure.
well, I figured they had to put a feet fetish thing in there because most of those weirdos in Hollywood like that stuff, type of stuff. So I
Hold
said,
on, though. But check me out though. Like, if it's a feet fetish thing, don't they gotta be like good looking feet? Like Jamie Lee Curtis had some fucked up like some hooves.
hey,
Shit. I was like, oh no.
everybody's into something.
Oh, no thanks.
Oh man,
I love
although
Uh,
that.
her,
So only like 3 movies bring that kind of emotional response out of me, and that's like The Fountain and Cashiern in this movie.
I need to think after that one.
I think about those sexy feet,
I mean, the hot dog fingers, that shit was
dude.
hell, and then they show you the feet, and I'm like,
Hey,
oh.
you were probably you saw her playing piano. You're like, I want to get that chick in a song. Fuck that shit. It's
I was mad. I'm like, this bitch could play piano with her fucking toes way better than I can with my fucking hands. Shit.
oh man,
Could be like the Dr. Dre in that universe. Watch.
man.
Oh yeah, and we didn't go over that there was only 5 people responsible for the visual effects.
I was
Oh
gonna ask
what?
that. I
That's
was gonna
pretty
ask
cool.
about that.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
That's pretty
See,
awesome.
that's tight. That's like kind of inspiring right there, because that's the shit I want to get into. I'm learning how to do all that stuff, and I got the computer to do it now, but it's baby steps. But I think that shit's so cool how the graphics and everything, how they do that stuff. It's like,
5 guys
man,
taught themselves how to do it on YouTube, and since you brought up the 69 versions of
what?
the different multiverses, one of the images they showed in there was an image of their Zoom call. with
Oh, what?
Man,
Oh, that's awesome.
I also read that both of the directors had little cameos in it too,
yep.
as little spots.
Choreographers, the brothers, the Lees, they're actually the guys with the A plugs.
Well, what I saw one was the guy that fucking he got sucked into the fucking bagel and shit at the end. That
The
was one
first
of the
one.
directors. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in it a couple times actually, and all the scenes with Michelle Yeoh, she where she's getting sucked through the multiverse, They just put her with 2 green screens beside her with alternating lights. And what he did is he walked around different cities with a GoPro on his chest, and they just put that footage together with the flashes and everything,
Yeah,
making it look
that's
like
dope.
yeah, it
Dude,
was
I've been on the GoPro nuts, and I could see a lot of the footage in the mainstream movies they used, and like a lot of people were like, "That's dumb, an action camera." I'm like, no, GoPro is like where it's at. Like you can do so much with those cameras. They're like amazing. I have 2 of them actually. Like, and yeah, and that's why I'm just like, oh my god, they use GoPros. You know, like I'm just like that.
that
I
movie's
mean.
so dope.
That
GoPros,
makes it even cooler.
GoPros are dope, but like as far as you're talking about like the action shots, like that's just dope, man. Like how they could do a single camera shot, you know what I mean, throughout multiple pieces of movie or whatever it may be. And I know we're not this isn't our wrestling show this week,
Oh,
but
a lot of wrestling
that's
stuff.
been happening, you know. I don't really get to watch it, but I've been hearing about it. That's been happening lately with their production. If they've been able to do these long single shot or multiple spot takes, you know what I mean? And that's been
And
pretty cool, man.
yeah, where they're not even showing like it's weird because it's like a movie now the way that they show it. But Becky Lynch won the women's title. They put it up for like a battle royal or whatever.
Uh,
But I want to mention, since you brought up wrestling, this movie has a lot of wrestling references in it.
she did a pile driver with to the lucha dude and broke his freaking neck. I saw that. That was
Uh,
cool. But man, this movie was just awesome. And then like you guys brought up, you know, James Hong earlier, he's been in all the fucking movies. That dude is great in everything he's in. Um, the chick that played Joy, Stephanie, what is it, Sue?
Yeah, I think Sue.
She,
That
I've
eight,
never heard of her before. I've never heard of her or seen her on anything before, but she killed it, bro. Like she
yeah,
did an incredible job with this role, you know. So I was just, I was very proud of all of them, and I thought it did a great job. Anything
yeah.
else you got to add to it, Doja?
no, not at the second.
What about those questions? You got any more of those questions you were trying to ask?
Oh yeah. Uh, so do you guys think the multiverse is true?
Yeah. Okay. Um,
We don't have
I'll
to get too crazy into it.
yeah, I'll just agree. I just think that, like in my perspective, that if this page is our universe, that the multiverse are pages to a book, and if you have the book, that's our entire realm of reality. So that each of these pages represents a whole universe, and that they're all connected. We could connect. There's things like quantum computers and things. People speculating about CERN, which they do say that with that smashing the 2 atoms, it is basically like creating a mini black hole. With that being said, some people have speculated that that black hole is opening like a hole to another reality.
Yeah,
One,
yeah.
uh,
They
but
say it's the demonic one letting demons in.
truthfully, this is, you can look this up. They have been developing over the last, I'd say, decade, quantum computers, and what they do is they have this barrier that they heat up the molecules, and the molecules can go through, so they can process data at 16th to the 4th power. I don't know how fast they are now. This was from a video I watched 2 years ago, but the idea is if that realities are exactly how I said, then you could poke a pinhole into the other reality. We could leak information into our reality that may help us deal with things that we have going on now. But the thing about it is they say if we do that, it's a two-way doorway, that what could be
Yeah.
pulled there, they could pull out of ours.
Remo, what do you
Yeah,
got to say about that?
damn, that's a whole lot, bro. That's a lot to think about. To me, it all sounds like some Matrix kind of shit, bro. And like when we start talking about that, like as if it were real life, it gets kind of hard for me, bro, because like at the same time, like I understand that it's not outside of the realm of possibility. You know what I mean? Because like anything is possible, and anything that you could think of and that you can conceptualize, I think, you know, the brain has enough power to it where it could at least figure it out somehow, you know. But at the same time, like all of those kind of things make me feel like maybe disingenuine, I guess. You know what I mean? Like as if that were the case, like if there were all these other universes and all this other kind of shit, right? It would make me feel like maybe I'm not actually me. Like maybe I'm actually this motherfucker and I'm just this version of it. I'm the fucking Denver, Colorado version of it. You know what I mean? In another spot, I'm this other one. So it makes me feel as though like that can't be true. You know what I mean? Because I feel too much of like a sense of purpose for it to seem also meaningless. You know what I mean? Does that
Well,
make sense? Like I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to feel like it's all minuscule in the wide scheme of things. I want to think again with the fucking thumb. I want to think that it's just like more important than that. You know what I mean? I don't
that's a
know.
point in the movie, actually. Remember when she said that maybe you're right? There could be some new discovery that makes us feel like even smaller pieces of shit.
Yeah, yeah, she did say that. See, what the fuck?
I I
Again,
I just
these.
I just want to learn, you know, and start being like the, you know, that movie, the one, and just start killing off all the other ones, so I could be the powerful, dominant one in the
I knew it.
multiverse.
I knew it. That's why he's doing his whole training regimen. All of you watch.
I'm training in every art form I could think of.
That's why they said you look like Neo. You look like oh no, they said you look like Johnny Depp. Well, my fault. Never mind. Same
Dude,
thing,
and
man.
then they, you know what, they also call me Jimmy Neutron. You remember that shit? The the
Oh,
lunch the the lunch ladies were looking at, clowning on me at work, and then I had to look it up and remember, and I go, it's not in the middle, it's on the side. Like, what the heck? Yeah.
man. I'm gonna call you Jimmy Depp, bro. Like it changed the whole thing.
Maybe that'll be an alias.
I'm gonna make the fucking artwork now. We're gonna get shirts made.
Oh, speaking of artwork, real quick before I forget, I need a sticker like this, so when I take a drink, it'll be like this.
Check it out.
Oh.
I got it for you right here.
Man,
So,
those look like some scary ass serial murder eyes. Who is that?
They kind of do look creepy. I had a couple people tell me that shit already, but I have these motherfuckers all over the place.
Is that Charles Manson? Yeah. You're not supposed to let no but the cat off the thing. We're supposed to make them guess. They got to scan to guess.
yeah.
Right? Fucked it all up. I'm sorry. Any of y'all that seen it, unsee that shit.
So back to the movie before we end. I just want to say,
Just to give you a heads up, we're at an hour and 8 minutes.
cool. Yeah, I'm gonna round it up. I just feel like very well done. Every single thing about it, that everything you could have done, the way that the characters act in every scene, just the way, even when they burst jump, when Wayman goes from alpha Wayman to normal Wayman in intense scenes, it has a lot of action, a lot of lights, a lot going on. And then you get the rock scene where complete silence. Everything is just even written on the screen.
Yep. And I like that too because like it really did take you to this place of tranquility, and even reading it, like it wasn't like a nuisance either. Like it was something that you were invested in. So that was cool too. But I didn't really get to say much about this dude that what's his name? Ki Hu Kwan,
Yeah.
the one that played Wayman. This dude, man, I forgot when you first told me who he was, before I watched it. I forgot when I first watched it. So when I'm watching it the second time around, and then I put it all together, I'm like, oh shit, this is the kid from Indiana Jones. It tripped me out, bro. I was like, damn. because he did an awesome. I mean, obviously he won the Oscar too, but he fucking did an awesome job, man. He was really like the heart of the movie, if you
Yeah.
ask me. You know, like he really was like the heart and soul of the movie. And did you say it was like his first job back into acting or something?
It was.
Wow.
What?
He couldn't get acting as a child actor. There was no room for an Asian actor, which Bruce Lee went through all of this too. So he ended up giving up on acting. So he said when he came back to this, it's been 20 years since he's been in a movie, and he kept it a secret till the day before they released the trailers officially from his family, even because he was embarrassed. He didn't want to tell them, look, I got back into acting in case this didn't work out, due to what's
Yeah.
happened in the past.
And
And
then he
That's
wins
the
the Academy Award. Damn, how
that's
crazy.
that's the Goonies kid, right? We're talking
yeah,
about.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's
so it was kind of funny, like you were saying, Remo, like how it clicked in your head, because I remember I was like watching it, and then I was like, where does that dude's voice kind of sound familiar from? And then it was like, and then the little light bulbs kind of flickering in my brain, and then it was all, and then I remember what you said about it, and then it all like it was all, I was like, oh snap, that's fucking the trip, man, then you
well,
flash back to childhood actor, like, yeah, that fool
Right.
was funny in the Goonies and shit.
the fanny pack scene. I feel like that was a reference back to his Data character in a sense. You know what I mean?
Oh, I was gonna ask you, but I didn't even write that question down. Do you know what fanny pack brand that was, so I can start practicing with that shit? 'Cause that was a badass scene right there, man.
Right,
Shoot. And then
bro.
he buckles it at the end, huh? I was like, yeah.
And then afterwards too, like when he has to go and pee or something later on and shit, and she holds it for him, like he does it all cool, like it's his little fucking his weapon and shit. Like she holds his sword while he goes to tinkle real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
That shit was funny. Dog, I'm telling you, fucking him and Jamie Lee Curtis. I was really fucking impressed with their fight scenes, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I thought I mean, Michelle, yo, you already know, dog. She's off the fucking chains in all of her fight scenes anyway. So I expected that shit. But those two, man, I was really impressed.
so, one question. Which universe would you guys be in?
Oh, that's a hard question, bro, because I feel like her universes in this world were like tailored to that story. You know what I mean? I feel like the universes in my world would definitely be tailored to my story, so it'd probably be different. But if I had to choose, like through their stories, like through their universes, I
Yeah,
uh, I
that's what I
think
meant.
I don't know, man. That's fucking hard. I think I would want to
I
be in the regular one that they're in because all the other ones are a little too extreme. I think.
Hey, you know what I was thinking? Probably like us, instead of having wieners, we probably have like tamales or something on our fingers.
I don't
Uh,
know. When I check out the first named in the first alien version with the three pyramids in the background.
that's tight.
But I did want to touch on something else too. What makes this movie so powerful are a lot of the shots that put you in that first person perspective, and a lot of the ways where the actors address the audience at the same time they're addressing the characters. So they're breaking the fourth wall, basically talking to you both.
Yeah, I like that too. You know, that's cool stuff. Like that's why I won an award for the directing too. You know what I mean? Like all of this shit, bro, was very well done, like you said. And when you were hyping it up to me the other day, it was kind of tough, because that can happen, bro. Like you can easily overhype something for somebody else. You know what I mean? Because your expectations of it or your interpretation of it may differ from mine. So like I was trying to take all of your hype with a grain of salt. I wanted to form my own opinion of it. But I feel like it did kind of affect it when I was watching it yesterday, and I didn't get the same type of thing. But when I was able to watch it today with like a fresh set of eyes and perspective, the whole thing changed for me, bro. Like it was really a powerful thing that just touched on every subject. It was really everything everywhere all at once. It really did have it all in it. And it was very well done, bro. You know, the only thing that I didn't notice as much and what you've touched on a little bit was like the music, which is weird because usually the music is one of the first things I focus on. So I didn't really notice that as much, but all of the shots, all of the effects, the dialogue, I thought the dialogue was awesome. There was just so many different aspects to the movie, you know, just in production wise that was just awesome. I really was really impressed by it.
Hey, on that Rockstar thing, he was saying that that song Barbie Girl was playing on a scene by Aqua. I was like, what? Really? I didn't even notice that.
Oh yeah, and fun fact before we get off is Jackie Chan was supposed to be the main character, but he had turned down the role.
Why?
He had prior engagements, so he even hit up Michelle Yeoh. She was talking about it in an interview I was watching today, and she said that when she got the part, Jackie Chan hit her up and said, "Congratulations on your new movie." And he said, "I just wanted to let you know your boys hit me up first." And then the interviewer asked her, "Well, are you and Jackie Chan friends?" She said, "Yes, we're very good friends." So she said she told him his loss. And then at the end of the video, it's showing her walking up to accept her Grammy,
Oh, Oscar.
her
Was
Oscar.
Jackie there? Did he see it?
No, it's
Oh,
just
that'd have been
walking.
tight. They cut to Jackie and him being like real proud of her or something. You know, that'd have
But
been tight.
honestly, I don't know. Like Jackie's too much of a badass, and I like how the character was like kind of like a dork and nerdy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like I've seen Jackie Chan just whoop ass all the time, and to
No,
me,
her
like,
character, right? Like her character would have been Jackie, right?
Yep.
oh, I was thinking the husband's character.
No, it would have
No,
been first. They had to change the movie because now you have a different actor, so now the story's got to change. And
Oh,
that's awesome that you bring that up, Doja.
that's even kind of funnier, because yeah, poor Jackie, he would have got that Grammy.
That's funny because first, before I realized it was homeboy from Indiana Jones, I thought he kind of looked like Jackie a little bit. I knew it wasn't Jackie, but I'm like, damn, this dude
I
looks like
thought,
a little Jackie. Like he looks like a little mini Jackie.
oh, that's tight. You said that because I thought the same thing. Like I said, maybe it's like his son or a cousin or
I
something. I don't know.
didn't relate it or
But see,
something.
what I think it was he looked familiar to us, but we couldn't place it because it wasn't clicking in our head at first.
Yeah, maybe, but there were some characteristics he was making, like facial characteristics that looked a whole lot like Jackie in the beginning to me. But fucking, I loved it, man. Any last words on the movie for either of y'all?
Mm,
there could be many, but I think we covered it pretty well, honestly.
I think so too. I recommend it to anybody and everybody, man. I think if you watch it, don't be tired and don't fall asleep because you will miss some important shit and not know what the fuck's going on. You really need to pay attention to it, but it's an awesome fucking movie and it will take you on that ride. You know, it's an emotional roller coaster. It's pretty dope.
yeah, it's like a guide. You got to watch it a few times to really kind of concept and get. It's one of those movies. The more you watch it, the more you learn. Like I've watched a few movies probably 1,000 times. And I've learned more and more because it's an informational movie. Lot
Yep.
information.
Grim?
Yeah, I mean, like you touched on it, is that it's going to take you on a ride, and besides the multiverse and all of these aspects going on in the movie and the weird comedy, you have to try to look beyond that and you see the essence of the movie. It's so powerful. It's more powerful than a movie that was designed for this purpose. I feel like the way that they did it with artistically, with the music, with the cinematography, just the dialogue, everything, it suited so perfectly the idea they were trying to get across, better than if they would have just made this a normal serious movie.
Yep. Yeah, I think having all those different aspects to it just brought in the range of it, you know, so much more, and I think it just has that much further of a reach. Um, Are y'all gonna come up with the first episode of this other show you guys are doing, or what the fuck's going on here?
We don't know. To be announced.
Damn, on
It's
the
very.
spot. On
It is
the
so.
spot.
It is
I got my phone
so. There's
open. Y'all saw that shit.
there is so much information in that other show that it has to be really black ops and undercover because it's gonna it might get taken out by the CIA. I don't know. It's
Shout
gonna
out on his interview episode. I watched that this week.
Say
the
what
what?
now?
I said shout out to Remo on his first interview episode.
Well,
That
thank you. I
is
appreciate that. That's kind of why I was bringing it up. I was trying to plug all of our other projects that we got coming up here
Well,
because as I was trying to allude to, Doja could get into it right now, but these guys are coming up with their own show. I have another show, and go ahead, Doja, tell them about it.
so we did record like about 20 minutes and we bounced around on a lot of different like subjects and basically it's just gonna be pretty we're just gonna talk about a bunch of different things. One of the subjects we talked about and I showed you guys earlier was the Sasquatch. This some people believe it's real, some people don't, some people seen them, some people haven't, so we just kind of explore stuff like that and it's
Bit
gonna
more
get interesting.
controversial stuff too, right? You're gonna get into like more conspiracy things and more stuff like that, right?
yeah.
I don't really like to use the word conspiracy when it's the truth.
Well, and see, I'm not so much into the conspiracy stuff. Like I know of stuff like that. I'm more aware of it. My more interests are in the esoteric and occult, which that's where we're going to tie in all of these things different. Let's just say this is going to be a more open-minded podcast. Everything's open. We're willing to explore open ideas, even ideas people want to put out there for us to research. But like Soul was saying, we have about 18 something minutes of footage. I'm trying to edit a version. He's trying to edit a version so we can both put up on an account just as a sneak peek. We went too much into a lot of things, so we thought it would be a good sneak peek into what we kind of want to get into, all the ideas and stuff.
Okay.
It's
Well,
like a introduction episode of what, and then like we were saying, we talked like so many different subjects. So those will be the first few episodes. Will be just that subject, but we bounced around on like just all kinds of stuff, and we also had a special guest. We on the first episode come in for a quick minute, but we'll let that be they'll find that out later down the road, when that gets released out.
well, that sounds dope, man. I'm excited to hear it and see it all. There's a lot of cool stuff that I know you guys are gonna get into, and y'all are both some characters and got a lot of crazy stories and insights. So when it comes out, y'all be ready. I don't know if it'll be on the same feed, but we'll definitely promote it here and we'll share links and whatever. Um, but as far as my stuff goes, please, please, please uh, check out my episode of Vicious Interviews with Keisha from the Batty Activation podcast. I just put it up earlier this week. It comes out on the same feed as the Dro Bro Show. So those of you that are subscribers should have already gotten the notification about it. Please peep it out. It's an awesome interview. Keisha opens up about her journey, her life, her work, her passions. It was a great conversation, and she had a lot of game that she was spitting. Thank you, Grim, for peeping it out and checking it out and giving me your feedback on it. I know that she is somebody that's just so damn relatable and has so much positivity in her that it really just touches anybody and everybody. I know her show is more geared towards women, but her message could reach anybody. And I think that it's a beautiful thing. So thank you for those of you that have already peeped it out. And if you haven't, please go and check that shit out, man. It's hella dope. And we also got a couple other shows that are in the works that we're talking about. They may be more shorter episodes or shorts, and some of them may be other whole show concepts with a few other guests as well. So please stay tuned. We have a lot of things coming from the Vicious Network and Hohola Media. Lots of
This
things
is
in the
This is the tip of the iceberg. I mean, you know, these people don't, I mean, you know, we're brainstorming ideas on here. This is just a very, very tip. We're just putting the we're just putting the tip into the world right now. You know what I'm saying?
Just putting the tip in. And you know, it's crazy to me. Like, what is it? What is this? Our ninth episode already?
Yeah.
Holy
Oh
shit.
man, we got to do something cool for Diaz for 10.
Next week's our 10th episode. That to me, that sounds like we're not supposed to have it next week, but maybe we should switch some shit around and maybe we should have a special guest next week. What do you guys think?
I'm down.
All right, well, we'll leave it up to you listeners too. If anybody has any preferences, let us know in the comments if you'd rather have us put a special guest or if you want to have us do another regular show, let us know.
Oh,
But if not, I'll put out some fillers and we'll see who we could get on as a cool guest for our 10th episode. But I don't know, anything else you guys want to say before we call it a night?
Like and
uh,
it helps out the channel, helps out our videos, puts us in the algorithm. You know, we're very thankful and grateful for anything anybody does. Everything would be reciprocated.
And he kind of cut off right in the beginning there, but he said like and subscribe, and please do to all of our channels, all of our pages. Go ahead, Doja.
I wanted to tell everybody that, like, you know, with the times we live in, with the internet and all this and everything, where we could communicate with each other around the world, it's cool to like network with people and to talk to people. And we are all humans, and you know, we could all talk and have different opinions and different that. We don't really get into depth on like politics and all that stuff on this show. We review a lot of stuff, but people who watch this, you know, you guys have stuff, let us know. You know, this is about networking and communicating to, you know, people around the world, you know, like not just, you know, the two states that we're in. We want to know what you guys are doing too. You know, if you want to be a guest on the show, hit us up. You know, we're open. This is a platform for us, and it's a platform for you. You know, and so it's
Love
all
that.
about
Well, very well said.
you know what I'm saying? Networking. It's network.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank
Dro,
you
dro,
for saying.
dro work.
From the Vicious Network, this has been the Dro Bro Show, and this has been episode 9. Thank you for rocking with us, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.
Bye,
Yeah.
guys.
This is episode 9. We blew your mind with the universal kind. We out. So Doja.
Hell yeah. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you, everybody, for peeping out the Dro Bro Show. Please don't forget to follow on all socials for all 3 of us and subscribe.